Let's try to bring localism down from the ivory tower a bit. It might be a good idea, given the, current political situation, to actually talk about stuff that's happening in the real world and that listeners might care about because it's affecting their lives right now. So let's talk about the contemporary liberal case for localism. Well, we might start with this handsome fella right here. Remember that localism turns the pyramid of preemption upside down, making local governments be the highest, most controlling form of authority in the land. If you don't like what's being done on the executive level, localism thus gives you a way to override federal level actions you don't like. But wait, I can hear you saying, what about those times where there's somebody that we like in the Oval Office? Someone like this guy, or this guy. Actually, maybe not that second guy. The problem is, even effective liberal presidents usually achieve their policy goals by expanding executive authority. That means when the pendulum shifts the other way and a conservative gets elected to the presidency, that conservative now has more power to implement their conservative agenda. And this process just keeps repeating over and over again. What about the federal Congress? That passes laws we like sometimes and definitely represents our interests well, right? Well, the problem is, it's actually super rare that Democrats control both houses of Congress at any given time. But even when they do control both houses of Congress, liberals still can't get anything done. Liberals have controlled both houses of Congress twice, pretty recently, and both times they failed to achieve really pressing liberal priorities. Then there's this really big problem of the Supreme Court. Conservatives have been very successful at gaining conservative control over the Supreme Court, and absent some kind of miracle, that control is going to continue for the next 20 to 30 years. That miracle will need to look something like two conservative justices somehow deciding not to step down to be replaced during a conservative administration, and then dying at the same time when Democrats control the presidency and the Senate. Look, that shit is not going to happen. And because federal law is just whatever the hell the Supreme Court justices say it is, this means that in practice, conservatives are going to have final say on what all federal law means for the next 20 to 30 years. Okay, policy lightning round. Abortion. Under localism, you and your community could just go and vote and make abortion a right in your locality tomorrow. Immigration, because under localism, local law preempts federal law, you could pass a law that prevents ICE from even stepping foot in your community. Gun control. You can't violate the Second Amendment. Localism doesn't change anything about civil liberties under the Constitution, but you could pass common sense measures that might otherwise get blocked by your conservative state government. Housing. Right now, local governments often have their hands tied by state and federal governments on the stuff they can do to address housing shortages. Under localism, you and your community could decide for yourselves what measures make sense, whether that's rent control, or changing zoning, or getting rid of permitting schemes, or adding affordability requirements to new development.